Earth has been destroyed.
Going live onto YouTube first. And get your music.
Hey, there's a little chilly up in here.
Oh, is that fireplace on?
Yeah,
I'm
glad it is on because it's just still chilly.
I can turn up the heat to it too. It's not too tough. Let's see. Joe Banks music.
Turn it up.
Where the heck is it?
Turn up the heat.
There it is.
Oh, I ain't heard my disco music in a minute. I got somebody coming and looking at my dang Buick this evening.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook right now, so you should be able to share it.
There you go. That'll work. Yes. I ain't gonna freeze to death.
Tomorrow goes parking.
Right.
Look.
You see it?
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to share it.
How come I don't see it? Oh, here it is, right here. Damn.
Can I get a quick sound test from you guys?
Check. 1 2. Check 1 2.
There's someone in the basement near the laundry.
That just tickles him, boy.
Oh, man.
I don't think I've ever seen him this happy.
Huh.
Now we know what it takes. What to get him for Christmas.
Man.
A mini sniffer.
I'm angry at the officer because I wanted that call. I wanted that call. Then when the dispatch came out with that one, I know, yeah, 5-5, I'm in route. 10-10, we're going.
Can you overrule people? Like, I mean, if you're a senior officer and you hear a call, can you go like, no, I got that one?
I mean, you know what? You could, but
It'd be frowned upon.
we're all going.
Right.
Any of us can back him up. He's still primary. He's taking the report on that bad boy. I'm just there for laughs.
Right.
Was there ever a call like that you can think of? Like, not like that, but
Oh, yeah.
like something that like you wanted to be a part of?
Well, there was quite a few. I mean, there's a guy in North Minneapolis who got him scrotum stuck to the spring because he decided he was...
To what?
Yeah, he was sexually aroused, so he shoved a pack of salami into the mattress, and the spring went through his scrotum sack, and he was trapped to the bed. So he's
Wow.
screaming. Yeah.
There is no bottom, is there?
No.
That's no good.
I swear to God, you just have to get in the car and take the calls.
God. That's bananas.
Let me see here.
Yeah, and just whenever you guys are ready, you just let me know.
Oh, we're ready.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Here, let me just, I guess I should connect the chat here. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining the show. We'll be starting in just about 20 seconds. We've got a great show. The boys are back.
And I think if the news caught something like that, boy, they would just run with it.
Yeah, are we live?
Yeah, we live.
Are we live? I think we are live. Well, man, it's been a couple weeks since we've been out of the studio and trying to get various things done, kind of behind the scene, if you will. But it is always good to be, I guess, back at home, I guess, if you will, second home. Being able to come into the studio and inform and educate, empower and inspire, you, the community, on topics that impact you one way or the other, directly, indirectly, however it is that you want to place it. But again, there's always so many different things that we need to talk about, so many different things that happen in our community that we just never can really kind of get to them all. I mean, we can do a show like this there every day and still probably wouldn't have enough time. But nevertheless, again, people, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It Wednesday. Please feel free to chime on in. Again, if you want us to, if you want to come on down, be a part of what's going on, please feel free to hit us up. We're going to give you that contact information throughout the show here. Come on down. We're still looking for someone to come down and talk to us about trauma. You know, that is such a huge piece that happens daily, you know, within our communities across the country. And we just want someone with a little bit more insight, you know, and education on that. They just kind of come down and talk to us and share, you know, their experience, their education, their knowledge, their training, et cetera, about that. But again, before we get started, you know, we got to kind of go over some housekeeping rules, and Joe's going to kind of hit you with that famous backpack.
Yes, sir.
Yo, so man, it's been a minute. How you been though?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good. Weather's doing great outside. I mean, you know, can't beat it.
Yes, absolutely. We're, you know, a little late, you know, today. There was a 3-car pileup, you know, on my way in. You know, I'm just glad and blessed that I was not, you know, involved in it, but, you know, there was still some very nice cars, you know, that was involved in that, and I'm sure that there's a couple of individuals that are not happy, but again, didn't appear to be any serious injuries, so that's always a blessing. But anyway, before we kind of go too much further into it, man, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to you so you can kind of go over some of those housekeeping things and hit them with that backpack.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once again, thank you guys. You know, we're here every week, every Wednesday from 4 to 5. So make sure you're tuning in. Some of those house rules is making sure we're respecting everybody's comments. Remember, you can hit us up on Facebook in the inbox, Messenger, things like that. Or you can call into the show. So remember to get here and check us out with your questions. And there's no such thing as a dumb question or a bad question. So ask your question with respect, and we'll do our best to answer it. Remember, you know, this week, for sure, we're leading into the holiday weekend. So, you know, make sure we're getting ready for the holidays, that everyone will be safe out there. Be careful about your drinking and driving. Pay attention to your loved ones.
Check in, please. Check in on your loved ones. Check in on even those that you don't know. There's always someone that's kind of going through some stuff, and this holiday seasons is always tough, because people lose loved ones. They done lost jobs. They're concerned about paying bills. We all know that the economy is just, you know, skyrocketing. Everything from a loaf of bread to gas to cars to homes, you know, et cetera. People dealing with all different type of physical and mental health issues, and that is exactly one of the reasons why we really need to get someone in here that's a little bit more knowledgeable about that the trauma piece and mental health and things of that nature. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to take over from you.
Oh, no, you're doing your thing. but yeah, so I mean, you know, make sure that we're doing that, checking in on the families, make sure that you're talking to your loved ones on the phone, and you know, just be safe out there. The roads are kind of slick. This is our first real snow since last week. And just making sure that we're being careful. I've seen quite a few accidents out and about on the highway, so just make sure you're reducing your speed to meet the weather conditions. With that being said, every week, you know, we start, middle, and end the show with that backpack. That backpack consists of making sure that you have your driver's license and insurance with you before you get in that vehicle. Make sure you place them above the visor so they're easily accessible if stopped by law enforcement. Remember to stay calm. Keep your hands where they can be seen, and as always, make it home to your loved ones. Same thing when walking down the street. Make sure you got your driver's license or your ID in your pocket or someplace easily accessible. Remember to stay calm. Keep your hands where they can be seen, and as always, remember to make it home to your loved ones.
Yes, indeed. I'm just going to kind of piggyback on that just a little bit. Again, you know, I am a firearms instructor with Lumai Carry and Conceal. However, you know, when you are being pulled over, please, you know, do yourself a favor, do that officer a favor, and let them know, you know, that you are a licensed permit to carry holder. Again, keeping your hands, you know, where they can be seen, so there's just no potential accidents. You know, again, making that officer, you know, feel comfortable, and also yourself, you know, to be comfortable. But again, letting them know what you have, where you have it at, you know, as you're handing them your insurance and your license and things of that nature. Also kind of add your permit to carry card with it. And again, if there's any questions or demands or requests, I should say, from the officer, please feel free to reiterate, what it is that they're asking you to do before you make any affirmative movements, because, again, you want them to be relaxed. You don't want them to be all hyped up and so on and so forth. In today's times, there's just a lot kind of going on. We as civilians make mistakes, officers kind of make mistakes, and that is what we try to alleviate, is those mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. So again, if it's at night, making sure that all your windows are rolled down, that your dome light is on, turn your car off, all of these different things will, they seem very small and very minor, but it makes a huge difference when these officers are coming up to your car and, you don't know them and they don't necessarily know you, but you're about to engage in a conversation that honestly, may not be so pleasant because you're, kind of confused or, maybe even a little agitated or upset based off various factors on why you're getting pulled over, et cetera, et cetera. Because again, at the end of that traffic stop or that encounter, with local law enforcement, you have to do what? Make it home to your loved ones.
That's right.
But with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and kind of dive right on in, into today's discussions. Did I say that right? Into today's discussion. Happy Wednesday to everyone from Kenya. Well, thank you, Miss Kenya. It's been a long time since I spoke with you. Hopefully everything's all good with you and the family and the grandkids. But we wanted to kind of start off with Project Endeavor. Project Endeavor for the city of Minneapolis kind of started, I believe, in October, sometime early to mid-October. And I know that there's been some numbers and things of that nature that has recently kind of, come out about the success and some of the things that they're kind of doing out there when their joint efforts and things of that nature. But there's some numbers that's been kind of put up on the screen, that gun-related calls are down by 30%. Gunshot victims is down by 29%, and carjackings are down by 65%. Now, there might be some individuals that might be inquiring on, how do they come up with these numbers, right? Mm-hmm. And I know that, there's, Shot Spotter, is one way, that they kind of track this stuff. Obviously, 911 calls kind of coming in. We all know that, as it gets cold outside, people are just not outside, nearly as much. And even though that we've been having a fairly decent winter, up to this point, people still are just not standing out on corners and things of that nature as they would be, May, June, July, August, September, type of thing. So calls for services, and just victims of various crimes, always kind of diminish. And we're not taking anything away from, law enforcement's hard work, but we also kind of, I guess, give a little credit to the weather, and it is what it is, right? But again, there's a lot of hard-working law enforcement out there, and not just Minneapolis, because I believe that they had a couple different agencies and other various different entities throughout the city of Minneapolis, that was involved, in this Project Endeavor. So I just want to say, thank you, to those law enforcement officers that are out there, walking the beats, in your downtown Minneapolis areas and wherever else that they're walking, in the cold and things of that nature. I do know that I'm going to put you out there a little bit. Officer Rosie Wales, a good friend of mine who's just recently retired or just about to retire. He had worked his last Project Endeavor shift, in downtown Minneapolis, and posted it on his page, and had an opportunity to take his photo with who was that statue that's down there downtown. I can't even think of her name. But anyway, he took a photo with Mary Tyler Moore.
Mary Tyler Moore, yeah.
Mary Tyler Moore, yeah. So he took his photo with Mary Tyler Moore, and, it's, Rosie's, been on the department for, 25 or so years. Really, really good guy. Again, man, I hope that you enjoy all of your success, with your retirement and things of that nature. I know that he has a young son, and I wish him, nothing but the success, for the next 20 years that he has left, on the department. But again, Project Endeavor, like it, love it. It sounds like it's kind of having, some success out there. I do know there was some other information out there. Were we able to kind of get some of that information as far as kind of what their goal was?
Yep, I'm pulling it up right now, actually. One moment.
But again, I know obviously it's to work in unity, with multiple agencies and to, reduce crime. Obviously, I mean that's kind of a given. But again, there's a lot more strategic things that kind of go into, this whole Project Endeavor and so on and so forth.
Do you want me to read this?
Yeah, can you read that, please?
Yeah. So basically, what it says is the unique and new piece of this mission is the use of violence prevention agencies and community-based groups such as the Department of Neighborhood Safety, Downtown Improvement District. MPD's Strategic Operations Division has been regularly providing the DNS with violent activity location data, which is then shared with violence interrupter teams at regular Minneapolis Strategic Outreach Initiative team lead meetings. Man, you guys are big on acronyms and stuff. Team lead meetings. This is the first official partnership between MPD and DNS. And, under OCS. Jesus. But basically, so what's a violence interrupter as far as you know?
Well, a violence interrupter, I believe that is a nonprofit organization that has been hired by the city.
Okay, they're actually hired?
These are... Well, I should say they have a contract with the city, if I'm not mistaken. They have a contract with the city to kind of go out in the community. These are individuals that are, have maybe some type of ties to the community, maybe have, boots on the ground, ears as far as kind of what may be occurring, in various communities kind of throughout the city.
Like Mad Dads, I see on here. That's one I've heard of at least.
Yeah.
Is that a prominent one, would you say?
Yeah, Mad Dads. Yeah, obviously, everybody kind of is aware of Mad Dads. And speaking of Mad Dads, and I apologize. I should have, talked about this earlier. The president of Mad Dads just recently passed away, not too long ago. And I
Turnipseed?
John Turnipseed. Thank you.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
John Turnipseed recently passed away, and he had been involved, on the board and things of that nature over there for an extremely long period of time. So again, our condolences, to the Mad Dad's family, his personal family and friends. He had done a lot. I know that he had been having some health issues for quite some time, but obviously, we always want our loved ones with us, but he's definitely received his wings and kind of gone on to a better place. So again, condolences to him and his family and his friends and things of that nature. But again, back to Project Endeavor, the Interrupters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're right up there with Mad Dads. They kind of go out there and do a lot of stuff in the community.
And then so it says that they diffuse altercations, partner with community health workers to provide medical and substance abuse recovery and prevention resources. I assume that's just outreach. Provide referrals for housing services, same kind of thing. Engage citizens with resources for employment or training resources. And then on at least one occasion reported intervening with naloxone. You guys got to say that.
Well, that's basically Narcan.
Okay.
Basically educating people on Narcan. That's one of the things I do. I'm a Narcan instructor as well. And that's kind of another story because there's a couple different ways that you can apply Narcan. One's through needle and one's through nasal. The nasal is a lot more something that's a lot more recommended. When you're out in the community. The needle and stuff like that. There is more for the nurses and doctors and things of that nature, more in a medical type setting. Because you don't want to end up missing the vein and hitting some type of artery or breaking some type of needle off in somebody's arm or whatever the case may be, right? I mean, there's a lot of different things that can happen. And even though that you're still going to be kind of protected up under that Good Samaritan Act, you would just feel kind of bad, if something like that there kind of goes wrong.
I've had to see that needle go in live to someone, and it was just kind of wrong time, wrong place. But it's crazy how fast they pop up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, with the success and with their, with all of the community partners, that are out there doing what they're doing, within the project endeavor and just out there on a daily basis, doing what it is that you're doing. Again, thank you. I know that, some of this community outreach, community work, can be kind of a thankless, type of position to have. But again, and here's the thing, there are entities and individuals, if you will, that are out there that necessarily might not get the love or respect or whatever based off of their particular background, right? But we also have to understand that, in a lot of cases, those that are out there making these positive and productive impacts are those that have kind of been there, done that, if that makes sense, right? Because they're able to kind of educate, inform, enhance, and empower based off of their experience. And they were able to make it out, so we want, those people that are able to kind of identify, with whom they're talking to, versus those that don't have no experience, et cetera, et cetera. Now these people are going to know, who's real and who ain't, et cetera, et cetera. So, again,
How about, as you guys have been, on the streets, you've seen this stuff in action, what is your opinion of groups like this? I know different groups have different level, of effectiveness, but overall, are you supportive of stuff like this? Is this a good way for us to spend money, do you think?
You want me to answer that question first?
Yeah.
He said, yeah. I got to think about this one for a second. Now, I am all for, individuals and entities out there being a positive and productive within the communities kind of throughout the country, right? I do, or would encourage to make sure that they're receiving the necessary, type of training, so as they're out there, they're having the most, productive outcome, right? Because that's kind of what it's all about. But at the same time, we have to make sure that these individuals and these entities that are hiring these individuals, don't have one foot in the door with the city, but then they also having one foot, still in that type of lifestyle, right? I mean, it's one thing to understand that lifestyle and have some respect and understanding and things of that nature for that lifestyle, and that's how you are helping, them individuals kind of come out of that lifestyle. But you can't be taking part or participating in that lifestyle and then thinking that you're going to be productive. Because there's an old saying that my grandma used to tell me all the time is, whatever's done in dark shall someday come to light. And if you're out there, doing things, in a manner that's not being productive, if you will, it's going to come to light. And then you're going to not only put a stain on yourself, you're going to put a stain on that entity that you're working for. You're going to put a stain on all of the other brothers and sisters that you're working with that are out there doing, those positive and good things the right way, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. There's cameras and things of that nature all over the place. Just do the right thing for the right reason, and I guarantee you will be just fine. That entity will be just fine. Your brothers and sisters that you stand with will be just fine. And that person that you're trying to get out of that lifestyle will be just fine.
Yeah, I think we just, the biggest thing is I definitely want to say thanks to the guys for continuously staying at it, trying to get things done, that collaborative effort between all of these organizations. I just ask the citizens to make sure we're keeping a close watch, keeping accountability of what's happening with funding toward these different programs. With the holidays and the weather along, of course, that has helped with some of the impact on the crime that's happening on the streets because it's extremely cold. But I don't want to take away from the credit from the hard work that these guys are doing, so keep up the good work. At the same time, I want to make sure that we're not being pleasers, right? I don't want to keep throwing money simply to make certain groups and organizations happy. I want to make sure that we're actually applying money where it's actually needed and that we're seeing positive results and we're tracking those results. That statistical data is what's going to make the difference moving forward. I want to be able to show in real time the impacts that we're having, the money that we're spending, and where it's actually going. And no more of this, well, we got to figure out what happened to $7.5 million. Mm-hmm. This is real money. This is taxpayers' money. It may seem like, there's an unlimited amount of money, but this is taxpayers' money, and it's costing the citizens in taxes and revenues of that nature. So it's important that we're keeping a close eye on what's happening and paying attention to how this is rolling out. Right now, as far as I can see, there has been some impact. I've noticed a little bit less crime on the street to some degree, depending on where you are and who you ask. But, we want to keep that, and I want to basically also tell the citizens to keep up that good work because they're the ones who actually make the difference when it comes to crime. To make sure they're keeping those eyes out, make sure they're talking to people, and make sure that we're applying for these jobs that need to be filled.
Absolutely. So again, that's pretty much kind of sums it up. Your answers or your question, I guess. But again, kudos to all of those entities out there that are, doing outstanding work, boots on the ground, et cetera, et cetera. There was another a situation, man, where there's a lot of, and I looked this up, because owning a security company, we tend to try and think outside the box and how we can kind of best serve the community and things of that nature, right? So, we had looked up some of the listing of all of the vacant buildings and things of that nature, not only within the city of Minneapolis, but in St. Paul, obviously, because those are the two largest cities, but I'm sure that there's, others, within other cities as well. But, and kind of what brought this about was the recent, burning, of the building that was over on 23rd and Lindale in South Minneapolis, which was a pretty large complex, and then there was some information, that kind of came out that this wasn't kind of the first time, that this property owner had been involved, with having a complex, and that it was vacant and it kind of came ablaze.
Yeah, it sounds like it was property that had been condemned and then some kind of way mysteriously caught fire. And that is the major concern, to ensure that this is just not a pattern of behavior for this landlord, but also the fact that at the time of this last one caught fire, there were several squatters inside, and one person actually ended up jumping out of the window to save themselves. So that was a big thing.
Absolutely. And then you have individuals like the ATF. When you have such a large fire like that there, you have ATF that has to kind of come in and do their investigation, because, hey, it is what it is, but it's about the money.
It's definitely about the money. And listen, arsons are some of the hardest investigations in law enforcement to do, and that primarily because a lot of the evidence is usually burned in the fire.
Absolutely.
So, in trying to determine what caused that fire, you're looking for patterns of accelerants to determine whether or not something other than natural burn caused this fire, remnants of anything that would show that this happened unnaturally, with some type of assistance of accelerants. But I mean, this is going to be an ongoing investigation for a while. These guys are going to have to dig into it. Sounded like the ATF was ordering up some cranes and stuff. And usually when the ATF is involved on something like this, you got kind of a multi-investigation going. You got folks running backgrounds on people. They're looking at history of the building, the owner, things like that there, and then kind of watching video in the area to see if someone was coming and going, And then those fire marshals who are getting inside idea to kind of look at what burned, how it burned, and if it's consistent with somebody doing something to make that place burn. So
absolutely, and so again, right now the ATF has a $5,000 reward, for any information, kind of leading to or just basically surrounding the burning building. And again, we at WSC Protective Agency, we have definitely kind of reached out to a lot of these owners of these vacant buildings, because we do know that, there are a lot of squatters. There are a lot of homeless folks. It's cold outside. They're trying to find places to kind of stay warm or just kind of at least get out the direct elements and things of that nature, even though that we've been having a halfway decent winter up until this point. And things do happen. Even if it's not, something burning, there's assaults that kind of happen. There's and all kind of assaults, physical assaults, sexual assaults, et cetera, that occur.
Yeah, and that's why it's important that the citizens definitely, when you see something, say something. It's important because there's a lot of abandoned property, and it is important that if you know that no one should be there, that you pick up the phone and call the police and go, hey, I don't know what's going on over there, but I've noticed there's been a lot of traffic coming from a building, and the people who own it are no longer in control of it, or it shouldn't have any residents inside of it.
Absolutely. So again, if you have anything like that there, please pick up the phone. Honestly, you can give me a call, 612-978-6066. Again, 612-978-6066, and I will definitely kind of follow up on it. But if you don't call me, at least reach out to your local representative, somewhere, your city council, local law enforcement, contact somebody and kind of let them know what's kind of going on in your community, because you do not want your house to be, next door, and the next thing you know, your house or whatever, or your community as a whole is being impacted by that, right? So, yeah, man, what do you know about that situation that didn't happen over in St. Paul, bro? With the officer-involved shooting.
Yeah, it sounds like 2 officers are on leave at this time in connection with this shooting. Sounds like it could have been like, I don't know, initially came in as a domestic abuse call. Sounds like when the officers arrived, they may have seen an individual with the firearm in his hand. From that point on, it's kind of hazy because that information hasn't really gotten clarified yet, but it sounds like maybe when the officers arrived, they saw an individual with a gun in his hand. They encountered the individual. Sounds like one of the vehicles may have struck the individual. He went down to the ground, but still had the firearm in his hand, and the police end up discharging their weapons, and the individual was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. So, condolences out to the family, right? Because any death is a terrible situation. Hopefully the facts will come out. The BCA is actually investigating it. They're the lead investigators on this case. And hopefully pretty quickly the facts will come out to clarify exactly what took place. And let's hope this is a good shoot.
Yes, I mean, when we say a good shoot, we mean that, the officer is just not out here discharging their weapon, in a very reckless manner, creating or causing a death of another. But like he said, any death is a terrible situation. So we just wanted to clarify when he said a good shoot. But I do know that a lot of community members within St. Paul are already kind of demanding, the release of the video footage of the body cam and things of that nature. And again, there's been a lot of scuttlebutt, if you will, on, if there was a gun, if it wasn't a gun, what was the distance between, the officers and the suspect? Was it necessary to use deadly force, with the patrol car? I mean, there seems to be a lot of different questions.
I think there was some question on whether or not they thought he was about to carjack somebody. It's frustrating because I would like to see us use a little more less than lethal in certain situations. But individuals kind of dictate how we respond for the most part to these situations. But like I said, it sounds like the gentleman is only 24 years old, and in my mind, he's a young kid. And if there's some way to save that life, in my mind, that's always at the forefront.
Absolutely.
Right, at the forefront. So, like I said, my condolences to the family, because in the end, regardless to what happened, that's still somebody's son, and he's no longer with us. So that's a hard pill. When I say it's a good shoot, I mean, I want to make sure that the officers had legitimate grounds for doing so and really thought that they were saving somebody else's life in the process of making a decision to take somebody else's life, because it's very impacting, and it's tragic that this is a very young man who is no longer with us. That's the important part, I think, that we have to care about, is that this is a young man, 24 years old. I don't really care what of his priors were. I care about what happened at that particular moment in time. And so when that video comes out, I'll make a call. But at this point, I'll reserve judgment until I see that video myself to see, what took place and if I thought it was justifiable. But hopefully that BCA and the city of St. Paul will get that video out in the public a lot sooner than later, so that people can have some type of understanding of what took place.
And just kind of begin to heal.
Yeah.
Because that's all kind of part of the healing process, is being able to understand and acknowledge, what happened, to a member of someone's family and a member of that community.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But man, time always kind of flies by.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're kind of at that halfway mark, so we got to kind of go over some more housekeeping things, if you will, and pay a few bills, and hit them with that backpack. And when we come back for the second half, y'all, we got something to show you. So why don't you go ahead and take care of that housekeeping stuff real quick.
Yes, sir. Now, that backpack consists of making sure you have your driver's license and insurance with you before you get in that vehicle. Make sure you place it above the visor so it's easily accessible. That way it won't be confused for a weapon if stopped by law enforcement. Remember to keep your hands where they can be seen, stay calm, and as always make it home to your loved ones. Same thing when walking down the street. Make sure you got your ID, your driver's license where it's easily accessible. Make sure you stay calm. Keep your hands where they can be seen. Allow the officer to go through his spiel, and as always, make it home to your loved ones.
Got to make it home. But man, listen, we all have work, that's done in our homes. I mean, I just had some new carpet, put in my house in my basement stairs leading up to kind of my kitchen area. A lot of times we try to do our due diligence as much as we can to, read reviews, maybe kind of, get someone recommended to us from somebody else that had, done already had some work done by this person, whatever the case may be, right? But every now and then, you hire someone to do some work and something just doesn't go right.
Yes.
And so we have a video that we want to show you here real quick. And then once we kind of show you this video, then we'll kind of swing back around with some more comments.
And a little warning, it's a little graphic. It is a little graphic what the person does. And so we have to give you that little heads up warning. But take a peek at this. This is a video that's posted on Facebook from an individual who appears to be there to do some repair on the washer and dryer. And while he's there, the employee of the company is going through the folks' laundry and kind of smelling it and stealing some of the underwear that is there. This is extremely concerning because of the fact, like Beeks was saying, we're allowing folks into our homes to make repairs. And if you're not actually checking the background on these companies, you don't know what you're letting into your home. And this gentleman definitely has some type of a fixation going on here. And uniquely enough, thankfully, these folks had cameras in their house, and we just wanted to make sure that this went viral.
Yep. Old water. pinhole leak that sprain and got it. Yep. Yeah. Yep, pretty much. I'll be able to get that taken care of. Will do. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, how's the job going?
So far, pretty good. I just finished the fitting that I got replaced there.
So what are you here to do?
I needed to fix a leak that was spraying out of there. I got the pictures for it. If you need.
Sure.
All right.
Now, off camera, you can't see them, but he's actually talking to law enforcement right now.
Okay. Why do you think I'm here?
I actually don't.
Okay. Do you know they have video here?
The camera?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what did the camera show you doing?
I have a feeling I know. Messing around with all their stuff.
Let's not beat around the bush. You weren't messing around with the stuff. What were you doing?
Smelling underwear.
Okay. And the pair that you have, are they still in your pocket?
Yeah.
Okay. What were you going to do?
Honestly, I just have a bad habit of taking the.
Just leave those right on top. Okay. Okay. Keep going. So you have a problem with what?
I have a problem with a underwear.
Yeah, just looking at that, Veeks, what are your thoughts on that, man?
You know, it's almost leaving me kind of speechless. You know, it's extremely serious. You know, but it's almost comical, but it's something that you just don't want to laugh at, right? It's amazing to me on how he was gently and delicately kind of putting them back as if no harm, no foul, type of thing, but it's a wonderful thing, the day of cameras. And having cameras in the house, because again, if these owners didn't have the cameras in their home and placed in these areas, this would have been, kind of his word versus their word, or they would have came home just kind of not knowing, the young lady of that house perhaps would have been looking for, her items sometime, a week or so from now, kind of wondering what may have happened, maybe kind of accusing some other, family member in the house of taking something. I mean, this could have went, a lot of different directions. It's extremely alarming that these individuals, had the faith of having this gentleman kind of coming to their home, or hire this company, and this company sent this individual into these people's home and just kind of violated them, like that there. I don't know, man. It's just crazy. I guess I'm glad that it turned out the way that it's turned out, and I hope that this company does a lot better job at screening their individuals with background checks or whatever it is that they need to do, so that there is no other victim, like this here, because I'm sure that this is, that situation was not his first time, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's...
Yeah, when I saw this video and it was brought to my attention, I knew right away this is something that we had to alert the community to. And these folks were violated.
Absolutely.
In their home, and this is tragic, because how many of us are actually having folks come in our home to make repairs, and you think that they're out there doing what they need to do, and then you get a situation like this. So it's incumbent upon these employers to really do an in-depth check on the folks that they're hiring, that they're sending out to people. But it's important that we pay attention to people that come into our home kudos for these homeowners who actually had the cameras going, had the mindset of calling law enforcement at the time that it had, and this person was arrested and taken into custody for this incident. But I mean, just it's just tragic. It's appalling, and just that family, man. I just want to tell them, man. You guys did a good thing. You did a good thing. You handled it just perfect. I don't know that I would have been as I think he did a really good job of calling out the PD and getting this guy arrested and hopefully getting him to the way he needs and get some help. Right. And thank God that younger kids didn't get affected by this, because this is really bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we can kind of speculate and kind of inject and all this other type of stuff as far as how and which direction this could have went and how this has impacted families and individuals and et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know, again, here's another injection here, is I don't know how long that person had worked for that company.
Right. How many other situations he's done like this in other homes.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, in some cases, this is kind of some of the outcome that's happening, within companies, where they're hiring folks, because, all these companies, I mean, even me as a security company, I was just talking to, the manager at a grocery store here within the last day or so. Even I've been speaking with some managers and stuff like that there at Target and just other places that everyone seems to be having a hard time finding quality employees. And so, and then therefore, when you find someone, you might be, trying to meet that person where they're at. You're trying to, have that kind heart, and so on and so forth, and give this person an opportunity. And sometimes, in a situation like this here, it can just really, come up and bite you in the tail.
Oh, yeah. And I think the best part of it is that the person was held accountable right away. I think that's the best thing that came out of it, that the person got arrested and held accountable right away. The family has handled it just perfectly enough to get the PD there in real time, and that there's video to back this up, and that this guy hopefully will end up, getting the help that he needs to get. So, yeah, but it's important that everyone sees this, and hopefully these folks will reach out to us and we'll get a chance to get a little more background on this. But I definitely am pleased with the way they handled it.
Absolutely. Again, like I said earlier, everything that's done in dark shall someday come to light. Oh, yeah. And these are definitely the day and ages of cameras and video, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I get calls all the time, from some of my clients, residents that are kind of staying in some of our buildings that we provide services for, and they want, various footage and so on and so forth. But there's always a process, right, before we are able to, or even if we are able to, because 9 out of 10 times we can't, based off of very legal legalities, chain of command or custody of video, things of that nature. So we just kind of provide that to local law enforcement, and then they kind of take it from there. What did it say? Kevin said that guy need counseling and help immediately.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Coach. Yeah. Absolutely, no doubt about that. And like I say, it's shocking. I remember just looking at it the first round, I was just like blown away. All right, this guy is at work and doing this, so that lets you know the guy definitely got some mental health issues and that need to be addressed.
Absolutely. And again, if we had a person here, a specialist here, or whatever the case may be, that can kind of even talk a little bit further about the mental health piece, because obviously, as you stated, there is definitely a mental health piece there, and kind of how things like that there.
Yeah, and on both sides. I mean, both the victim, but also if the victim needs to maybe talk to somebody about the feelings and emotions that this circumstances has caused them, feel free to reach out to us. We'll try and connect you guys with some resources that would help with maybe having to talk about this. This is traumatizing to have somebody come into your home and violate you in this fashion. So definitely, if you guys need to talk to somebody, feel free to reach out to us. You can reach me at 763-221-4724. That's 763-221-4724. Or joelawman@hotmail.com. That's JOELAWMAN @hotmail.com. So, but definitely, if you guys need to talk to somebody, reach out.
Absolutely. Well, man, we're kind of coming down, if you will, to another, interesting, if nothing else, show of let's talking about it. Let's talk about it. This last piece is just extremely challenging. It's just so many different things that's kind of running through my mind when I see something like that there, that it's just really hard for me even to kind of get the words out.
Oh, yeah.
But again, before we kind of, end this darn show here, we spoke earlier, about the holidays, and how the holidays are just kind of have people feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
And I just want to reiterate and encourage individuals to ensure that you take the time to reach out to your loved ones. We are still in the midst, of a pandemic, with COVID. I know that there's a family member of mine, her young 4-month-old child, was stricken with COVID. The baby's doing okay, by the blessings of the man above, but it's still out there.
Oh,
It's still impacting us. And it's not just COVID. Again, it's the financial piece. It's all these different type of things, mental health, et cetera, that are impacting us on a daily basis. And it is imperative, that we look at signs and symptoms, even when individuals are saying that they're okay, read body language. If you've been around them enough to know, what type of words and, they typically use in the temple, that they typically have in life and so on and so forth. And if you see that they just simply do not have that same energy,
Yeah.
check them out. Talk to them.
Oh, yeah. Let's make sure that we're checking on. December is a month of compassion, right? That's how I look at it, as a month of compassion. So make sure that you definitely are talking to those folks who suffer from depression, that you're checking in with your loved ones, because we do have a high suicide rate here. Anybody who has an addiction of any kind, make sure you're reaching out to resources, or give me a call, get a hold of Twin Cities Recovery Project. We got some resources there, or someplace close to you. Make sure you're contacting these folks to try and get some resources for your loved ones. Also, it's the middle of winter, so make sure that we're trying to get gloves and hats out to different locations. There's a lot of organizations that are out there collecting coats, hats, gloves, blankets for people who are homeless, those who are in need. Make sure that you do your part to give when it comes to that. And also, we are also, again, this year contributing to Toys for Tots. So we have a location at 3400 East Lake. Make sure that you drop off some toys that are unwrapped in good condition that you want to donate. There's locations throughout the cities for different organizations. Care 11, a few other places are doing Toys for Tots. But it's your chance to make some young kids' Christmas that much better. And also, we know folks, like you said, are having financial issues. So make sure if you want to donate a gift card to help people buy meals or Christmas dinner, make sure you do that as well. So just want to make sure we keep reminding you guys every week to give back to the community, get involved, check on your neighbors, know who your neighbors are, go by, knock on the door, see if they're going to be gone on vacation, exchange numbers, have a conversation, and all that good stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, my name's Antoine Beek Sr. I am the owner, partnership, if you will, in WSC Protective Agency. And you can reach us at 612-978-6066. Again, 612-978-6066. Or you can visit us at westportsecurity.net. You can also email me at abeeks@westport-mn.com for all of your safety and security needs. Again, we are a full-fledged security company where we provide armed, unarmed. I can come by and do a safety survey for your property, or just simply kind of answer questions that you may have, because there's just so many different levels when it kind of comes to safety and security. I've been doing this for so long that I believe I have a blueprint, that will fit everyone's needs. It just is a matter of how much do you want to invest in what it is that you have built and that you're trying to protect. I am also a firearms instructor with Lumai Carry and Conceal, or Conceal and Carry. You can also reach me at 612-702-9849. Again, 612-702-9849. I got 3 different classes. One is a familiarizational class for those with little or no shooting experience, just to kind of get you a lot more educated and empowered and just a lot more comfortable and knowledgeable as far as being able to handle and shoot and operate a firearm. Obviously, we have the Carry and Conceal permit that is a little bit more in depth. And then we also have the recertification classes for those that are kind of coming back around for recertification. I'm also a Narcan instructor. So if you guys are looking to kind of get some type of Narcan training, there's a lot of different entities out there that are providing free Narcan, to individuals, to businesses, to different entities, to help make sure that we are all doing our part out here, as a lot of us, is just struggling with various different things. That's kind of who I am a little bit, and kind of some of the things that I do, in addition to a host of other things that we offer and do and perform in the community, alongside of Mr. Banks here.
Yes, and also one more note in there, guys. We are accepting sponsorships here at our show, so make sure that let's talk about it. If you want to get your business on the show or have a conversation about getting your business on the show, make sure you contact us at 763-221-4724. That's 763-221-4724 for your sponsorship. That sponsorship will cover you for the entire year. It'll get you on the show a couple of times a episode for the entire year each week.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're looking forward to that. Again, we're here every week from 4 to 5, myself, Beeks, and we're here talking about issues in the community. So remember, if you got something that you want to talk about, hit us up so you can come down and be on the show, and we can do it live.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, we're going to go ahead and kind of close on out this show.
Okay.
And if you want to go ahead and hit them with that backpack.
We're going to go ahead and hit you with that final backpack. That backpack consists of making sure you have your driver's license and insurance before you get in that vehicle. Make sure you place it above the visor so it's easily accessible if stopped by law enforcement. Remember to stay calm, keep your hands where they can be seen, allow the officer to go to a spill, and as always make it home to your loved ones. Same thing if you're walking down the street, make sure you got your license or ID where it's easily accessible. Remember to stay calm, keep your hands where they can be seen, allow the officer to go through his spiel, and as always make it home to your loved ones. It's been an awesome show as always. Indeed. And we had a great time. Again, guys, check us out next week. Here
4 to 5.
There you go. I'm Joe Banks.
And I'm Antoine Beeks.
And we just talked about it.
Peace.